Hey, what's up, YouTube? Just Honest Pizzle coming at you. Congratulate me. I found me a job yesterday. Unfortunately, it didn't start till the second week of March, but you know what? It's more time to sit on my ass, drink beer, and watch and make videos. Today, I'm going to be coming at you about the immigration issue with a special shout out to my very dear friend from Eastside Boxing, old Swollengoat. Yeah, you're a dickbag eating faggot, but you're an ESB faggot, so you aight. In any case, this is going to be a several part series because immigration and border issues are very complex and nobody wants to watch me for 30 minutes. Although, I'm sure some people stare at my pretty face for hours. In any case, I want to start this whole series of videos by stating that everybody from the college professor in Connecticut whose family came over here as Puritans to the carpenter in Laredo who still has the Rio Grande on his shirt tail can agree that we're very blessed to live in a country that people are risking their lives to get into rather than risking their lives to get out of. North Korea, the old East Germany. So that I think anything that's said about immigration and border issues needs to be said in context with that. Now, this installment, I'm going to talk about a factoid that Mr. Swollengoat said on ESB. He said that during the Industrial Revolution, the percentage of immigrants living in America, versus the general population was higher than it is now. Doesn't surprise me. I don't doubt the veracity of that. However, there are some differences that, would make that fact irrelevant, or not totally irrelevant, but irrelevant in the implication that immigration and border issues aren't a real issue. Now, let's think about it. Back then, you had a very fractious immigrant population. I mean, you had, the biggest groups were Italians, Irish, Poles, Greeks, and Germans. None of whom shared a similar culture or a similar language. So therefore, if you were Hans in St. Louis or Chaim in Detroit or, Rudolfo in New York City, if you wanted to make something out of yourself and go beyond your little ethnic enclave, there was a pressure to, quote, Americanize, learn the English language, things of that nature. Now, whereas now, 60% of the immigrant population, both legal and illegal, are from one country, our southern neighbor, Mexico. Okay, combine that with the El Salvadorians, Hondurans, Nicaraguans, Guatemalans, Colombians, and Cubans. It's a safe assumption that 90% of the immigrant population in America are native Spanish speakers. You don't have to learn English to buy a home, to receive medical care, to work, and not just digging ditches or picking oranges. I mean, you can own a business. I mean, go to Dallas or Houston. There are, restaurant owners, transmission shop owners, construction contractors speak very limited to no English. You can make a living. You can even be a lawyer or a doctor in a border state and not have that good a command of the English language. Not to mention, the millions upon millions of American citizens who are directly descended from people of these countries or married to, people that are, because, intermarriage between Anglos and Mexicanos is not uncommon. I mean, it might be in the heartland, but in our border states it's not. So there is a difference between, the face of immigration back then and today. Not only because of language, also because of proximity to their home country. I mean, you have Americans, you know what I'm saying, that were born here of Mexican descent. They still go visit Uncle Julio in Matamoros, you know, get them some barbacoa or whatever, you know. Then you also have people that, you know, they come here, they work 6 months, 8 months out of the year, and they go back to Monterrey or Mexico City or Juarez, and they party, you know. Whereas in 1880s, you know, these people that came here from Greece and the Ukraine, once you were here, you were here. You pretty much left everything behind. It's not so much the case anymore, you know, because most of the people immigrating here are coming from right next door. And they're not moving to Nebraska or Detroit or Connecticut. They're coming to Texas and California for the most part. So, you know, there is, you know, a difference in the climate, you know, when it comes to immigration and border issues now than there was in the Industrial Revolution. You know, I thought that was something that needed to be addressed. It was a legitimate point, you know, in a very heated, sometimes very emotional debate on what should be done. And another thing I'd like to bring up is during the Cold War, post-World War II, most of our waves of immigrants, Cubans fleeing Batista in the early 60s, and, you know, Vietnamese. I'm from Arlington, Texas, and that has a very large Vietnamese population. Most of them came in the mid to late 70s, fleeing Ho Chi Minh's regime. Okay, pre-Berlin Wall falling, most of your immigrants that were fleeing communism were wealthier, well-educated people, oftentimes already had a mastery of the English language. Whereas post-Cold War, we're getting, you know, the Industrial Revolution type people fleeing poverty and war. So that's something else that should be considered. I'm going to come back with more thoughts. I don't want to be too long-winded. I also encourage you to check out my friend and favorite music artist channel, V Nasty 35th, and have a nice day. Enjoy yourself. WGM for life.